ABC 10 News at 7 starts now.
A man wanted for 2 recent shootings in San Diego is dead after being killed by police inside a dumpster at San Diego High School. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner talked to one of the people shot by Christopher Marquez in the last month.
That bounty hunter told me it's unfortunate this ended with a death, but that officers did what they had to do to keep the hostage alive. Tuesday, dozens of police officers were seen surrounding San Diego High School, where Christopher Marquez was shot to death by 2 SWAT officers who feared for the safety of a woman who he was holed up with in a dumpster.
I am glad that he is not a risk to the public anymore.
Tuesday, we spoke to Agent Clark, the bounty hunter who was shot by Marquez in March. He was serving him a warrant in Chula Vista when Marquez reportedly opened fire, striking Agent Clark, who is still suffering.
I was shot in the left leg and in the right bicep. I do have nightmares a lot. I do have problems sleeping.
Tuesday's deadly standoff started Monday night with a chase. National City Police said they spotted Marquez riding in a woman's car, but when they tried to pull them over, they took off, leading a high-speed pursuit through Point Loma and eventually downtown. 3 times they said Marquez fired at officers, the 3rd time downtown, where an officer fired back. The woman and Marquez, who was believed to be armed, jumped into a dumpster on the high school campus where they remained for hours. SWAT officers and negotiators were called in. SDPD said she tried to escape, but he wouldn't let her.
She began screaming and begging for the male not to shoot her and not to do this. 2 officers saw the male push the female towards the ground, and they could see a rifle being brought up, prompting them both to fire their weapons.
Use of deadly force had been authorized, and he was shot to death around 9 a.m. The woman is reportedly uninjured. Police said that just last week, Marquez shot at National City officers and ran off after they pulled him over, believing his car was stolen. The search to arrest him ending Tuesday morning. And police said it's not yet known whether the woman who was involved will face any charges. Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
Turning now to coronavirus. Federal health officials are calling for a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine after reports of 6 patients getting blood clots. ABC 10 News reporter Derek Stahl goes in depth on just how real the risk is.
Blood clots are common. As many as 900,000 Americans experience one each year. But the 6 cases that prompted the pause of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine are not your average blood clot.
It's really a very specific and unique type of blood clot that tends to occur in certain vessels throughout the body, some in the brain, some in the guts.
All 6 cases occurred in women between the ages of 18 and 48. They had severe, in some cases life-threatening symptoms 6 to 13 days after the shot. And what makes their clot so unusual is these women also had low platelet counts, the cells that glom together to form clots. In some ways, that's the opposite of what you would expect, says Dr. Christian Ramers of Family Health Centers of San Diego.
It looks like it's not your typical blood clot that some people get in their legs or in their lungs, but it's an immune-related blood clot.
The clots are similar to ones linked to the AstraZeneca vaccine. Of the 34 million people vaccinated with that shot, about 222 have experienced this rare brand of blood clot. The European Medicines Agency now lists it as a very rare side effect of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Most of those cases also happened in women under 60.
Women, for whatever reason, have a much more exuberant immune response in general. It's the reason why more women have autoimmune disease. It's thought to be related to hormones, particularly estrogen.
UC San Francisco infectious disease expert Dr. Peter Chinhong points out AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson use the same vaccine technology, which is not found in the other shots. It's called a viral vector, basically a dummy virus that transports genetic code. Some researchers have theorized that in rare cases, a few of those dummy viruses might be breaking apart early, releasing genetic code in the wrong spot. But the science on that is far from settled.
There is no such thing as a perfect medicine that is 100% effective with zero risks, or a perfect vaccine that is 100% effective with zero risks.
Dr. Ramers points out there have only been 6 cases associated with the J&J vaccine after 6.8 million doses. That puts the risk at about 1 in a million.
The risk of being struck by lightning is 1 in 500,000. So this is just actually half the risk of being struck by lightning. I suspect that we're still going to be using Johnson & Johnson vaccine as soon as this weekend. We just need to take a breath here, look at the data, and then maybe the CDC and FDA will develop some additional guidance about what to look for.
The FDA is encouraging people to watch out for symptoms like severe headache, abdominal pain, leg pain, or shortness of breath within 3 weeks of the J&J vaccine. Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
The pause in the Johnson & Johnson vaccine should have a minimal impact on San Diego County. Nearly 58,000 doses of the J&J vaccine have been given here, and that represents 2.8% of all of the vaccines administered in the county. Any San Diegans scheduled for the J&J vaccine will be given priority and rescheduled for either the Pfizer or Moderna shot.
The county reported another 278 cases today, while our test positivity rate held at 2%. Another 2 San Diegans lost their lives to COVID, bringing that total to just over 3,600. You can stay on top of any new developments with coronavirus by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in the App Store.
San Diego will spend another $2 million on the 101 Ash building. The city acquired the former Sempra headquarters in 2017 with plans to move 1,100 city employees there. But the discovery of asbestos brought everything to a halt. Today, the city council voted to spend another $2 million still owed to contractors. The city has now spent more than $50 million on the still vacant property.
A massive homeless camp in Oceanside is being cleared out, but this time it's being done differently. Our ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chin has the offer the homeless are being made before police give them a ticket.
This is how you don't do homeless outreach. This is what you're seeing right here.
That is the voice of homeless advocate Michael McConnell as Oceanside police move toward a homeless encampment along South Oceanside Boulevard, 48 hours after notice of the cleanup was first posted. Last week, the city council passed several measures, including a motel voucher program offering up to 30 motel rooms for the homeless, up to 3 weeks at a time. If the voucher is refused, a new anti-camping ordinance will allow police to ticket the homeless before removing a tent. Deputy Mayor Ryan Kine points to a string of overdoses along with drugs and violent crimes at encampments and says something needed to be done.
Homelessness is not a crime, and nor should it be. However, we really do need a tool to nudge some of these individuals and services and get them the help that they need.
The new efforts praised by many residents and businesses frustrated by the community impacts of the tent camps. This camp gaining recent attention amid the effort of the man who started it to clean it up and keep it clean. McConnell calls the police presence counterproductive.
Criminalizing homelessness has never worked anywhere. There's no reason to bring dozens of cops. What we need is professional outreach and resources.
McConnell says many were willing to accept the vouchers, but there weren't enough vouchers for a camp with upwards of 60 homeless.
Not just in this one encampment, but the other 300 folks around the city. So there doesn't appear to be any plan other than to hide these folks.
This is something that we can do right now and try to get someone into a safe, healthy living environment and then connect them to those critical services that they really need.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
Police say that no citations were issued and all 30 motel vouchers, they were handed out. About 10 tents remain and those homeless are now waiting on a list for those vouchers.
The prime suspect in the 1996 murder of a California college student was finally arrested today. Paul Flores was taken into custody in San Pedro for the death of Kristen Smart. The Cal Poly San Luis Obispo student disappeared 25 years ago. Flores, who was a fellow student at the time, said he walked Smart back to her dorm after a party and never saw her again. Authorities are being tight-lipped on the evidence that led to the arrest.
Forensic physical evidence was located, and yes, we believe it's linked to Kristen. And yes, we did find physical evidence at least 2 homes.
Flores' father was also arrested today as an accessory to murder. Smart's body has never been found.
The man who stabbed this San Diego police dog pleaded guilty today to animal cruelty and resisting arrest. Derek Jones stabbed Titan during an altercation with officers in the Midway district back in January. Titan had part of his colon removed and needed more than 100 stitches. Jones will be sentenced next month.